This is Jeremy Tessmer with SGTV. For our second offering from the Estate of Sidney Gordin, we will present an exhibition about the connection between the artist's sculptures and his works on paper. We will also exhibit 5 early, important abstract expressionist paintings. Sidney Gordin was born in Chelyabinsk, Russia in 1918. When he was 2, his family moved to Shanghai and then boarded a steamer for Seattle, where they caught the train to New York. Little Sidney was 4 years old when his family finally settled in Brooklyn. He showed an aptitude for drawing early on and enjoyed the attention it brought him from his parents and their friends. When he came of age, Gordin was accepted to Brooklyn Technical High School. There, he received instruction in mechanical drafting and welding, 2 skills that were to prove important to his mature work. During the summer of his junior year, he took classes at the Brooklyn Museum through the WPA art program. After his study with Thomas Eldred and Werner Dreves, he decided to pursue a life in art. In 1937, Sidney Gordin was one of 100 students accepted to Cooper Union in New York. There he studied under Morris Cantor and Leo Katz and began his love affair with abstract art. He also took classes in graphic arts, which included decorative pattern design and typography. In late 1942, Sidney Gordin graduated from Cooper Union and got a job doing mechanical drafting for a company involved with the war effort. In the evenings, he drew and painted obsessively, leaving only dates and numbers for the titles of his works. The estate's archive contains a small number of paintings and dozens of folders of drawings, which record the germination of many of his later ideas. In 1944, Sidney Gordin spent the summer at the art colony in Provincetown, Massachusetts, where Hans Hofmann had set up his highly influential school. Away from the city and his job as a draftsman, he started down a new path. In an interview with the Smithsonian's Archives of American Art, the artist said, "Matter of fact, when I came to Provincetown in the summer of 1944, I did a lot of work. You could almost call it kind of abstract expressionist painting. It was all very emotional, you know. It was very free." It was not Sidney Gordin's first time making abstract art, but the paintings he made in Provincetown have a decidedly different feel. This one has a musicality, a lyrical sweep that brushes aside structure to make way for exhilarating color and the poetry of the artist's brush. There is a tenderness and a power in these works that reminds me of Kandinsky. This one possesses a stately elegance, despite the rebellious stance it takes. Abstract expressionism would sweep the world in the late 1940s and 50s, but this painting was still very much in the vanguard in 1944. Sidney Gordin, like Franz Klein, had discovered that a painterly haiku could be wrought from the simple grandeur of a wide brushstroke. After the war, Gordin began freelancing as a cartoonist for the Saturday Evening Post, Collier's, and other fashionable magazines. Creatively frustrated, he returned to work in 1949, perhaps inspired by his friends from the Club at 39 East 8th Street. He re-emerged as a sculptor in metal, with beautifully balanced geometric compositions in both wire and in planes. His work met with immediate success. He had his first show at Bennington College and was subsequently included in exhibitions at the Grace Borgenicht Gallery, the Metropolitan, the MoMA, the Whitney, the Guggenheim, and numerous others. The relationship between his drawing and his sculpture is striking. For some sculptors, drawing is part of the preparatory process for fabrication. But for Gordin, it was a separate art for which he had an enormous talent. The balance of graceful lines that move in space by a trick of our perception could be replicated in physical space in these wire sculptures. Gordin also experimented with the relationships of forms and colors. In this work, he cut out shapes of paper and let the shapes dictate the colors he painted. He then constructed the image out of several pieces of painted paper. The process is indebted to his intuition, as it was to his constructivist leanings. In 1958, Sidney Gordin joined Jay DeFeo, Joan Brown, and Peter Volkus on the faculty at UC Berkeley. A year later, he joined the American Abstract Artists Group. Out west, his work became more organic, reflecting perhaps the California landscape. Gordin may have seen abstract form, but I see the gnarled cypress trees on the coast of Northern California. He would teach at Cal for almost 30 years, during which time he experimented with painting, drawing, sculpture, constructions, and collages. He maintained an active exhibition schedule all over the country and was finally elected to the National Academy of Design in 1993. Sidney Gordin passed away in Berkeley in 1996. Sullivan Goss is grateful to Paula Anglim and the family for preserving his legacy and for helping us to build a major program for American modernism on the West Coast. Sidney Gordin, drawings in air and on paper, will be up through January 2nd, 2010. Come see it.